real financial impact comes from truly understanding people, not just selling a product.
Yep. Very exciting.
We don't push products, we introduce tailored, well-aligned solutions. Blockchain and tokenization are really reshaping how people access investments.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to Control Shifter, a podcast by SmartDev and Verso AI featuring voices that take control and drive the shift. Today's guest is someone who's no stranger to disruption and innovation in the banking space, with over a decade of experience across leading institutions like DBS, Standard Chartered. Marcus Ling blends the wisdom of traditional wealth management with the boldness of modern and client-first innovation. So in this episode, we will unpack Marcus' perspective on wealth management, and the limitations he saw in the industry, and how he decided to shift the narrative, and how he's now reimagined this space at Ascendant GlobalCredit Group with cutting-edge tech, data insights, and a seamless digital-first approach. So let's start at the beginning, Marcus. Once again, thank you so much for joining us today. So before starting our first question, are there any thing you would like to share with our audience?
I think, I'm very happy to be here.
Yep.
Thank you for hosting, right, SmartDev. I'll be happy to share my journey and to share more about the things that, I have gone through, right, as a founder, coming from a banking background, and how, the whole shifting happens. Maybe back over to you.
Yep. Very exciting. So, okay, let's start at the beginning, Marcus. You built a career across some of the most religious financial institutions from UOB, AXA, DBS, Standard Chartered, and more. I'm curious that what was the thing that sparked, that pushed you to take the leap and found your own firm? And what led you to found Ascendant GlobalCredit Group?
So maybe I start off with sharing a bit more about my career over the decade, right? I started my career, about 10 years ago at UOB as a personal banker. That's when I graduated, and that was my first journey. I was on the ground, face to face with clients every day. That taught me something very important, that real financial impact comes from truly understanding people, not just selling a product. From there, I moved through roles at AXA, DBS, Standard Chartered, and Shanghai Pudong Development Bank, eventually rising into leadership and private banking through my career. I've also worked across every level, from retail clients to high net worth business families. And no matter where I sat, I still see there's a gap between what people actually need and what the industry is offering. That inspired me to create Ascendant Global Credit Group, a financial services introducer focused on building authentic, long-term financial relationships backed by insights and integrity. We believe in simplifying access to tailored solutions, whether is it credit, insurance, or wealth.
Wow, that's a very cool journey. 10 years, and then you see some gaps in the space, and you decided to step out and make your own firm. Okay, so I think let's zoom out a bit about the space that we're working in. So the wealth landscape has shifted dramatically, right? Especially here in Southeast Asia. So from your experience, what are clients in this space are really looking for today? Like, how have client expectations changed, especially in the Southeast Asian market?
Okay. Clients today are far more aware. They are more financially aware, right? They are not just looking for products. They want clarity, relevance, and flexibility, especially in Southeast Asia, like what you're mentioning, where there's rising affluence and digital literacy, right? People expect solutions that are both high touch and tech enabled. At Ascendant, we have built our approach around 3 pillars, right? The first one is understanding, access, and trust. We don't push products. We introduce tailored, well-aligned solutions from a network of established financial partners. That could mean pairing a young entrepreneur with the right financial structure, or guiding a business family towards long-term legacy planning.
Yep, I see. I believe that the mindset of applies any solution, offering a solution to a customer, is not just about we are offering the solution, but it has to start with understanding, right? As you mentioned, start with understanding, and then access, and then you trust. So it's not just only apply in financial service space, but it's also apply in any kind of solution offering business, because we need to understand what the customer wants and we bring out the solution that tailor to that problems the most. Okay, so I think let's shift the gear. You also mentioned that client nowadays is also looking for a more tech-enabled offering. So let's talk about the technology that will further empower the user experience, also the operation efficiency in the banking space. And you've been worked in highly digitized bank like DBS, Standard Chartered, but at Ascendant, you are also planning to take a step further, right? So we would love to hear how you leveraging technology to not just digitize, but truly personalize the wealth journey, as you emphasized earlier. And how are you using technology to enhance the financial journey for the customer today?
So coming from institutions like DBS Bank, Standard Chartered, I have seen firsthand how digitalization changed client onboarding journey, servicing, and even the advisory, right? At Ascendant, we don't build our own tech stack, right? We integrate smartly with our partners. Our focus is on personalization at scale, using data to match clients to solutions. They may not even know they need and this kind of solutions, and they are doing it efficiently without losing the human touch. So technology lets us move faster, but relationships built on listening and follow through, right? So our business is really more about trust, and to really build that trust aside with technology, so it's fast and efficient with the right relationship building.
I see. Okay, so I think let's dive into that tech stack a little more deeper. So how are you using data analytics and digital assets to get more personalized advice at the firm that you're working on?
Okay, for this Ascendant Global Credit Group, we are using data to go beyond basic profiling. We look at real-time market trends, client behavior, even how digital assets are performing. So we can offer advice that actually fits your situation, not just generic plans. Internally, we track provider data like credit ratings and engagement, so we know which options to match you with. On the marketing side, we use SEO, Google Trends, and social media to drive the right people to our website. All this helps us personalize better, whether you are checking out on mortgage calculator or looking at financial products that is right for you. It's a smarter device powered by data.
Yep, I see. Maybe you can share maybe a story of how you leverage all the data from market insight to customer data on your CRM and drive, like a success story when you drive a solution that tailored to their data, and maybe a success story of the customer that you're working with, but you have like telling us about how you approach that customer, how did you leverage the data of that customer, and also at the end, if things goes well, maybe the success story about that.
Okay. So, I will just share about, a scenario where we use data, to reach out to customers. We have our own data that we use alternative investments, anything to do with alternative space, to create our own pie chart, right, on our website team, right? They reach out to clients. They will engage them with this pie chart to assess the financial profile of the customers and what type of investments that they will be keen. Right. At the same time, we are also building some of the survey platforms, to use AI, right, to reach out to client base that gives them certain information about the customer, so that before we actually execute to meet up with client, we will have a certain set of data to see if it coincides. And once it coincides, we will actually recommend the recommended solution to the customer to see based on their profiling that is actually done. But this will actually provide the client, to save the client's time, where we have a certain data of the client. We are trying to see if it gels, and bring that by eventually using our fintech platform that we are going to build in the future, right? So, the process will be a bit more streamlined, right? We have plans to build it into something like your virtual EAM, where most of the meetups can actually be hosted via Zoom or just through a channel that is virtual, completely virtual. So we're trying to build that to see how we can build on data that we collect, and at the same time build it into a more efficient and a more convenient platform for working professionals or people that are busy. They don't have time to go down for coffee every time. Yeah, so those are the things that we are working on right now.
Yeah, I see. So it's like data driven in every customer journey, from reach out, you leverage data to ensure that the customer you reach out is really in need of
Yes.
these offerings, and then you optimize the whole customer journey by you leveraging data, make their experience becoming more convenient, frictionless, which is really great, I would say. And I would say every organization nowadays are trying to be a data-driven organization too, because when you leverage data, you know when, where, why, who to make a decision on, and also know at what point that you maybe messed up and at which state that you failed, and fix that accordingly because you know that based on the data. So I believe all of these insights that also lead us to the thing that you're building next at Ascendant, and the thing you told us earlier, which is the fintech platform, right? So you did share with us a bit about that already, but maybe can we go deeper in that? Maybe start with why you decided to build that platform. Like, why are you moving from a classic advisory model to a full-on fintech approach like that? And then we'll talk about why you building that platform and what that platform can do something.
Okay, so nowadays we realize based on trending, clients don't just want good advice, right? They want it fast, they want it clear, and based on their terms, they want it efficient, right? People get busier, they are more hungry towards something that is more fast and convenient for them. They become more tech savvy. So we had to ask ourselves, if we can't meet them where they are, right? Online, mobile, real time, then someone else will actually take this to get this job done. So a fintech approach gives us the tools to scale that trust. It doesn't replace the human touch. It enhances it. And at the same time, the tech platform we are building helps our advisors move faster, right? Recommend better and open new doors for clients. It's about making financial guidance not just personal, but practical and accessible at the same time. So we are trying to develop this whole fintech platform, which I would say that is very interesting because just recently we are trying to work with some of the partners that we have to see if we can explore this journey.
Yep, that sounds very promising. When talking about fintech platform, I believe there are so many partners that can involve in that space. Before, when talking about when developing it and having an expertise in that, maybe SmartDev can be a partner that you can consider. So, okay. And I believe that these can lead to the point where we can talk further about the platform that you're going to build. Like, what are you building next at Ascendant? But not just about the platform, but also the whole setting that's going to empower that platform as well, like your network, your current partners, etc. So let's talk about it a little bit.
So I believe we are entering a phase where real value lies in how fast and smartly you can connect people, capital, and opportunities, especially if you're talking about cross-border. Emerging tech like AI and blockchain won't just streamline the operations, they'll open up entirely new asset classes and funding models. So at Ascendant Global Credit Group, we see this shift taking place quite swiftly. Our clients are no longer satisfied with static reports or cookie cutter plans. They want scenario simulations, on-demand insights, and even real-time options that are tailored to their goal. So we're not just building tools, we are building a dynamic infrastructure that can flex with them. In 5 years, wealth platforms will need to feel more smart. They need to have adaptive ecosystem, not just financial dashboards. That's where we are heading. So we're trying to build a fintech on the ecosystem so that we can leverage on a new digital era. So it's going to be very exciting. Over the next 5 years, we are looking forward to this whole journey, building something that is very different on the platform. Blockchain and tokenization are really reshaping how people access investments. We are looking at a future where clients can own a fraction of these high value assets like for example, your property or your private equity investments, and trade them more easily and securely, right? It's also building trust, especially across borders, with smart contracts and full transparency. So at Ascendant Global Credit Group, we are actively exploring how these tools can complement our advisory model, especially for private clients looking at alternative assets, alternative investments. It's currently still in the early stage, right? But we do see strong needs for this platform, and we want to be ready to integrate them when the timing is right. So I would say that in the coming few years, people are looking more than just they have right now. They are looking more towards the blockchain, what can actually provide for them, tokenization, AI, everything that is more of out-of-box solutions. That's the direction that Ascendant is trying to adopt and eventually shape the future with.
Okay, I see. So there's so many exciting plans happening in Ascendant Global Credit Group. But as you know, so you've been going through so many changes regarding banking technology. Not every trending technology will be applied in an organization or in an institution. So if you are in a situation where so many emerging tech is going on, how do you maybe define, like maybe you have a framework to decide which technology is worth it to take into account to really work on implementation, to invest in that more?
It really depends on how we see the digital platform and what sparked the idea, right? Honestly, I feel that there is a gap, right, in the market in this area. Right? There is a lot of younger clients that are looking out for AI, digital platform, right? Even working professionals that do not have time. They are looking for this to be more transparent, efficient, and accessible to them. So they didn't want to actually wait for weeks to get a basic advice. So that is something that we should adopt, right? I feel that as a firm, we should build something that provides more clarity, readily accessible for this class of future generation, right? So that's why we have pushed to this direction. So I thought, why not build something that combines trust and personal relationships of classic advisory with the speed and scale of fintech, right? That's what we are going to build, not just to keep up, but to lead in how advice and assets can work together.
Okay, I see. I mean, still in exploring space, but with the key goal is to have the customer experience becoming more seamless and also frictionless and more convenient with the enable of all the emerging technology. Yeah, emerging technology usually when we talk about AI, but sometimes talking about our, for example, when the customer want an AI chatbot to, maybe their employees can get into that chatbot and chat about a certain information, and then that AI chatbot will get the correct information out, which is more convenient, right? There's a lot of firm wants that, but in the actual reality, their data infrastructure is not even organized to have that technology implemented. Or I would say maybe they just need a more organized knowledge platform rather than an AI chatbot, which is very expensive and sometimes is not necessary for maybe a 50 to around under 100 employees company. So yeah, I think there still need a lot of evaluation on the technology we're going to take into account as well. So, but it's also exciting to looking forward and see how this technology could enable our product, right? And okay, let's talk about a bit how you manage and coordinate your resources, because planning is another story, but implementing and also deployment is a whole different story. You moved from a frontline banker to a CEO and now a founder. How do you lead the people and have the people following your visions, etc. at Ascendant Global Credit Group?
Yep. Leadership for me is actually grounded in empathy and execution, right?
Yep.
I've been a banker, making 50 calls per day, meeting clients every other day, right? I've missed my targets. I've celebrated wins. That experience gives me a deep respect for the teams I now lead, right? At Ascendant, we lead with sincerity. Everyone is encouraged to build honest client relationships, not just transactional ones. And we operate like a startup, agile, accountable, and always learning. Culture-wise, we value humility. We are in a trust business, and that starts from within. So this has helped me to realize the importance of every team member, not just the people that are on the front line, but even those that are helping me in the back operations. I currently hold a team that is handling all the end-to-end role. Each of them carefully selected and trained by myself to pick up the role. So that's where we are at right now.
Okay, I see. So you lead with empathy because you start from a person who make 50 calls a day. And I believe there's so many founders, successful founders and CEO currently, they start from that position. They understand how hard their employees been going through because they've been experiencing that as well. Okay, so maybe during your work, I believe you also met so many young professionals and entrepreneurs right now. And maybe your employees, maybe some of the young professionals as well. So you worked your way up from a ground level. What advice do you have for someone just starting out in this space?
Okay, that's a very good question. I think that, to start out, you need to be consistent, stay coachable, and keep your integrity. I've seen people burn out chasing quick wins. Longevity in this industry comes from compounding trust, not just the commissions. Also, don't be afraid to start small. I've closed, $1 million deals, and I've had days where I couldn't close even a 10K one. But basically, you just show up, you learn, you evolve. Lastly, think like a problem solver. If you keep solving for your clients, success will take care of itself.
Yep. I love that. And okay, so from what I also know and our team also know that you also has a really strong expertise in sales and used to be a sales director of a big bank institution as well. Maybe because even though our tech audience is mostly tech, but sales skill is one of the most fundamental skill, and I believe that everyone should learn as well. Maybe let's share a bit of your sales tips, because whenever when talking about sales, we keep saying that you have to solve the client problem, you have to solve the problems. Don't just sell. But we all know that to be really put it in execution, to be really sell in a good way, in a correct way, that sell with problem approach, I believe it's still a question for many of us, and it's also young entrepreneurs, young professional tech leaders. They struggle with the skill a lot. So any the tips or your philosophy in sales, or any kind of skill that you think that everyone should know when doing these solution offering practices like this?
For sales itself, I have started on the ground back then about a decade ago at UOB. We have a group of people that run roadshows, events, seminars. I believe that at the end of the day, it depends on whoever you speak to. It can be people from different region, different country. They are all human beings. They would be able to sense your genuineness when you speak to them. At the end of the day, I do not believe that it is the product that people buy. It is more of the genuineness that you bring across, and whether people are able to trust your credibility and to sense your sincerity when you're trying to bring a solution or an offering to them. So this has brought me a long way since the first day I started out as a banker on the front line, and even up till now. I would say that not all the cases in my whole sales journey, and even as a founder, I have closed them, right? But I believe that as long as you continue to persevere, continue to follow up with those relationship building and networking, I believe one day the people that you speak to, they will be able to feel your impact, and they will come back to you again for whatever that you might be providing, at a certain stage in life.
Okay, I see. So it's not just about sell, it's a long journey. To have it yield a result, we got to do a lot of things throughout that journey. So yeah, consistent. And also I really like the one that you put, which is have the people feel maybe you're passionate, your ambitions, to feel the trust in yours. So those must be some takeaway for our listener. Maybe if you guys one day pitch your products with the client, expresses from deep from your heart, and showing that you believe that this product can solve this problem, and maybe start with emotion, I would say. But this is a really good insight that we could take into account and following through our journey. And yeah, okay. So I think it's pretty much from now. So let's say, where can people connect with you and together build a interesting collaboration?
Okay. So you can find more about what we do at ascendantglobalcreditgroup.com, or connect with me directly on LinkedIn. I'm always open to discussion around financial collaboration, innovation, or even mentorship. And to anyone listening, whether you're building your career or your portfolio, just remember, clarity creates confidence. Keep learning, keep asking, and keep building forward. If you're an investor, collaborator, or innovator looking to be part of the next chapter in Southeast Asia's fintech space, I'd love to hear from you. Thank you, everyone.
That's right. I believe Marcus will be a really good mentor and also a really good partner to work with throughout our podcast journey. He's always been very proactive, very, well prepared, everything's by himself to ensure the podcast today went smoothly, and as represent our podcast production team. Really appreciate this preparation from you, Marcus. And okay, so I think it has been a really absolute pleasure and really appreciate your sharing. I believe these insights are really helpful and valuable for our listener, especially who work in bank and the wealth management space. So before ending the show, do you have any thoughts or share more with our audience that you previously not yet have a chance to share?
Okay, I would like to share that the founder's journey can be challenging, right? But it's about the small steps that we build as we move. We are looking at step-by-step growth. I've always shared with my team that as long as we are moving forward with that small steps, eventually we will get to our goal and our dreams. So with that, I want to leave it with the audience. If you have any questions, you want to reach out, please look for us at Ascendant Global Credit Group. And thanks, Maddie, for hosting.
Thank you so much. Okay, let's close the show. So, listener, you've been listening to Control Shifter, where we talk to people who aren't just talking about the ship, but they're making it real. So, if you enjoy this follow, make sure you follow us in the upcoming episode, and see you next time.